Welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball Podcast. This is episode 8. I'm Will Donzella, joined here with my friends Mohammed Daffleseed and Zach Fulcher.
Yo.
We got a packed show for you guys tonight. A lot of stuff happened this week. We're going to talk about the Knicks. We had a fan request to talk about the Knicks from a Knicks page that follows us on Instagram. And we gotta talk about that. Talk about how they've been playing this year, how they're looking a little better than they have in previous years. We're going to talk about recent trades, specifically the Myers Leonard trade, given the recent comments that he had, and then the PJ Tucker trade. And we're going to talk about these new vaccine guidelines that the NBA has implemented. And we're going to end with a player-on-player debate of Steve Nash versus Jason Kidd. And as always, if you guys have not followed us already, follow us on social media. Our Instagram and our Twitter are going to be right below. It's going to be say_less_podcast for Instagram, and then say_less_pod for Twitter. We're really active on those. We love engaging with people, and we love to hear what you guys want us to talk about. But we got to first talk about LeBron James's injury tonight, because that's a big deal.
Yes, sir. At this time of the recording, LeBron went down today with his sprained ankle. Today's game, and it was announced that he will not return. And then later in the day, it was announced he will be out indefinitely. So that's gonna be tough for the Lakers, man. They don't have Anthony Davis, and they're not gonna have LeBron right now, and that's the worst case scenario. They both do not have their superstars to help carry the team, help shoulder the load. So I think this is going to severely drop their rankings and power rankings in the standings. It's a significant impact and show how much the bench can pull off without both superstars. If they can, at least hold a spot in the playoffs, that would be nuts. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to severely drop off. And it's tough. And I think this fully puts LeBron James out of the MVP race. There was comments before that, he was dropping and he wasn't as high up, and that's facts, because they were not performing as well without AD, and he was not performing as well as he should have been. There's a lot of 19 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assist games, and those are close to triple doubles, but he's got to put up more points than 19. That's just, but that's besides the fact he's an all-around performer. He's probably the best player in the game. I stand by that fact. But I'm going to have to say the Lakers are going to fall here, and LeBron is not in the MVP conversation if he remains out for a decent amount of time. That's at least my 2 cents. And this is also the fear we all had, the Lakers fans had last year, that they wouldn't be able to stay healthy. With Anthony Davis's recent injury history, and this is coming into, and LeBron getting older as well. There's always that thing, LeBron's older, he's going to get injured more. Credit to him, he's very durable, and the haters can say what they want about being injured and whatever, but he's stayed healthy and as old as he is, so it's coming around now. But man, this is the worst case scenario for the Lakers. Both superstars out with injuries. So that's my 2 cents.
You want to go, Will?
I just want to really quickly mention, then Mohammed, you could go, just the standings right now, because they have that play-in tournament, right? It's from the 7th to 10th seed.
Yeah.
So right now the Lakers they're 3 games out of that tournament, per se. So they have the 3rd seed. So they're going to fall probably to within that tournament, which starts with the 7th seed, which right now would be the Spurs with 22 wins. The Lakers have 28 wins, but go on.
So, I mean, I don't know how bad a high ankle sprain is. I mean, I know they said that he's out indefinitely, but, he could always get reevaluated in 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe he'd be coming back that week or maybe the week after. Same thing with AD. I think he's going to be reevaluated in about 2 weeks also. So, I want to see how long he's out for, because they did say it was a high ankle sprain. And they also said there's no, ligament damage or anything like that. I don't think they did MRI yet, but I think that's coming out in the next couple of days. But yeah, I mean, like Zach said, he's out the MVP race for right now. I know a lot of people are saying Embiid was out because of his injury, but LeBron's out probably even more longer than Embiid, so he's definitely out for MVP race, and it's a tough blow. For me, the Lakers, I don't think they're gonna drop off that. I mean, they'll drop off badly, of course, but you have to see. I just see how long both of them are gonna be out for. So if it's like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, I think they'll be fine. Maybe they'll still be a 6 seed by the time they come back. But
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know.
Let's
Six
look at
seed?
their.
Oh my gosh!
Here's
In the
their
West?
upcoming schedule. Phoenix. They're probably not winning that game.
No.
The Pelicans. That's up
Because
in there.
who do
They're
they
not.
have that can fill in LeBron's and AD's shoes? They don't have.
Okay, let me tell you guys something before you go, Zach. Because
I'm just chiming in.
yeah,
Just
no, I
go.
got you. I just want to real quick just say, once they get to April, their schedule gets really tough, like really hard. So if they're not back by April, I mean, their first 4 games in April are against elite teams, elite. Then they'll play the Knicks, and they don't have an easy upcoming schedule. I mean, they really don't. The easy games they have are against the Cavs in Orlando. And if you want to include the Pelicans, I don't think the Pelicans is an easy win.
No,
I don't think it's
definitely
an
not.
easy win.
No.
Other than that, they're playing like the best teams in the league. So couldn't have come at a worse time.
No, definitely not, man.
I guess they will drop
Rip.
off.
It'll be interesting to see if they drop out of the playoffs. I mean, in the West,
they'll be in the play-in tournament.
I know, but they don't have. I mean, they don't have anybody to step up. They don't. Kuzma's not going to. Kuzma and Caruso steps up and drops 20 plus a night. That would be something. Most improved player, and then just steals the most improved player award. But
let me.
Kuzma's obviously going to get probably a bump in his numbers just because he's going to play more. But
so let me say, I did sprain my ankle. I had a high ankle sprain. You guys remember way back when I hurt my ankle, and it took me like a year to get healthy. And that's mostly because I didn't do anything I was supposed to do. Like I played basketball like a week later, which was a big no-no.
Yeah.
And I couldn't rehab the way that LeBron will be able to.
You also are on a professional basketball.
Yeah, I'm not a professional basketball player. So but like they're painful, and they're serious injuries. Sometimes a high ankle sprain is worse than a broken ankle. It's good he didn't have ligament damage because I did, but I'm not going to compare myself to LeBron. LeBron would obviously he's
freaking nature.
So much more in shape and everything.
So much more durable.
But as from that perspective, it's not as it's not like, oh, you just sprained your ankle, okay, come back right away. So I did look up the average time that it takes for a player to come back from a high ankle sprain. It's 4 to 6 weeks. And the Lakers have said, reportedly, they are going to err on the side of caution, with extreme caution, was the words I found. So I got to think 6 weeks and maybe longer. So here, let me just go through some stats. Oh, wait, let me go back. Did you guys see the quote that LeBron said? What he said after?
I think he's put out a tweet.
Yeah, I mean, I got it here. Nothing angers and saddens me more than not being available to and for my teammates. I'm hurt inside and out right now. The road back from recovery begins now. Back soon, like I never left. So it's a typical LeBron quote, kind of get himself in the good eyes. Like he and not that he wouldn't be, but he's a team player. So that's just to mention that he said that. Now, the Lakers are currently the 3rd seed. As I said, they're 2.5 games above the Blazers and Nuggets for the 5th and 6th seed. So right there, after that, you drop out and you're into that play-in tournament.
Yep.
I got to think they're going to get there. But
I got to say they're not better than most teams and just about every team in the West.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So since AD's injury, the Lakers have been 7-7. Everybody forgets this. right? LeBron shouldn't have been in the MVP conversation, in my opinion, or at least in the top three. I don't think he's above Harden. I don't think he's above Jokic. I don't think he's above Embiid. I don't think he was because the Lakers don't win without AD. Now, granted, they probably wouldn't win without LeBron. It's hard to say. We don't know. But
You gotta
we do
rephrase
have
that.
data.
You gotta rephrase that. They win, but they do not win consistently.
They don't win consistently. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, and the teams they're beating are trash. So
Yeah.
not necessarily. They did beat the Suns, I believe, and they beat the Warriors. Those are decent wins. But the evidence has shown, even going back to the LeBron's first stint on the Lakers, we talked about this before, they don't have a good record without Anthony Davis. So in my opinion, LeBron just shouldn't have really strongly been considered for the MVP anyways. I know I'm going to get a ton of hate from this from people like friends of mine. I already know they complain about it every week. But that's fine. I go by what I see and what the data is telling me. The Lakers aren't that good without AD.
Facts.
They're probably going to be atrocious without
Facts.
these two players.
They're gonna be ass. They might be the worst team in the West.
They really might.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say they're gonna lose, like, let's say 8 straight games.
Naturally, the year is just so.
Fine, I'll say 10 straight. I'll say 10 straight.
Okay,
losses.
there you go.
10 straight losses.
Put your money where your mouth is.
10 straight losses. Sorry, yeah, I just written that dumb shit down. 8. That just doesn't feel cool. 10 straight losses without LeBron and without Anthony Davis. They're gonna fly off. But on to the next topic, the Knicks. Shout out to everybody who talked about the Knicks. We had a suggestion from one of our fans comment on the Knicks last week. We didn't get to it, but so the Knicks have had recent success this season, more so one of the best Knicks seasons in recent memory. They are currently sitting at the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference on the success of Randall and their young bench. Can the Knicks continue this performance, continue this run of success, and make the playoffs and have success in the playoffs?
Yeah, the Knicks are, I'd say, a top 5 team in the East.
Wow.
But also, I think obviously the trade of Derrick Rose to the Knicks is a big part of this recent success. Granted, he did miss the past 6-7 games, I think. Well, 7, including tomorrow against, I think, Philadelphia. But, yeah, they're playing pretty good. Obviously, Julius Randle, we talked about him being most improved. He's averaging 21, 11, and 6 this season. But, yeah, also shout out to Tom Thibodeau, too, for, proving that he's still a good coach in today's league. I know a lot of people didn't really like the hiring at first, so but he's proven to be a good fit for the New York Knicks. Like you said, Zach, the 6th seed right now. They're 21-21. 12-7 at home, 9-14 away. They're 1-5 in the division. I don't know who's in the division, but they don't really play good against them, I guess. And they're 14-13 in the Eastern Conference against East teams. They're also 6-4 last 10 games, so they're an all right team. I mean, they do play in the East, so obviously a 21-21 record is a playoff spot in the East. But
in the East,
yeah.
But also shout out to RJ Barrett. I actually saw a pretty interesting stat. This month he's averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 53% shooting from the field and 42% from 3.
This season?
No, this is for March, the month of March.
Oh God, I was like, dang, I've really missed out, huh?
Yeah, but those are all career highs to him, so he's playing good. Obviously, Julius Randle's playing excellent.
Superstar level. My God. Yeah. Knicks are underrated, I think, just because off of name talent. They don't have a lot of names that jump out at you like Randall and Barrett. You would think of, a Zion and I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? Ja Morant.
God.
Golly, that was ass. Sorry.
You're
I formally apologize for that one. Sorry. But John and Zion jumped out a lot more in that draft because they were higher picks, and Barrett fell to 3 to the Knicks. A lot of Knicks fans were disappointed about that, but he's coming into his own and stepping up and putting up nice numbers with Randall. So, and they got a nice bench. So with Emmanuel Quickly, wow, that's crazy. So shout out the Knicks. I kind of disrespected the Knicks in the beginning of this podcast, so kind of ripped them off and said they just fall out of the playoffs because they're the Knicks. I'll come out and say it. I didn't know my shit. Didn't know what the Knicks were doing. So shout out everybody in New York going crazy with the Knicks. So my bad, but they got decent talent. Can they continue the playoff run? Can they win in the playoffs? Is another question. Can they win if they get into the playoffs? Can they beat somebody in a series?
Yikes.
They're a first round exit.
First round exit? Okay.
If they make it.
Okay. If they make it. Damn.
Rip. I have
Rip.
very, very, very different analysis of the Knicks than you guys. I personally was on the Knicks train, I think, at the beginning of the year. And I think I said they'd be a playoff team. And I still think they will be. But I'm a little more hesitant now. So I went through the record. They're 17-6 against teams that are below 500, and not just below 500 teams. Like these are like the Pistons, the Cavs, the Thunder, like the worst teams in the NBA. They are 5-16 against teams above 500. So they're sitting at 21-21. That's not that great. All right. So they're beating terrible teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. Maybe they'll make the playoffs in the East. I don't know. Because in the East, you might get in. I don't know if you could get in with a losing record. Now
eighth spot right now, I think, is a losing record.
Okay, so then maybe that's besides the point. I'm just saying they're not really beating up any good teams at all, but they do have 6 players averaging double digits, which is really impressive in my opinion, considering that Julius Randle's kind of emerged as the guy. But it's just showing that they have a really, really wide variety of scoring, but also ball movement, and just a ton of guys that they trust. True. Now, one of the other things is their strength of schedule is 28, so it's not good. It's not good. Yet their records is 21-21. Their payroll, I looked into their payroll. This is astounding to me because this is comparable to the Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays that just made the World Series. They have one player making over $10 million a year.
Damn.
That's Julius Randle at 18.9. No one else on the team is making over $10 million.
That's surprising.
Is unbelievable. I didn't look into where that ranks in the NBA in terms of payroll, but I have to imagine that's pretty low, or in terms of like lowest payrolls. Now, team stats. Let's move on to team stats. They're 3rd in defensive rating. You guys remember earlier when we were talking about stats that lead directly to wins? This was number 1. Or you could say offensive rating. One of those two. If you're good at those, you're winning. The only problem is they're 23rd in offensive rating. So it seems like it's offsetting each other because they're 21-21. I'm not really impressed with their team stats as a team. I'm just not really impressed with what they put out. I'm looking. I took a screenshot. I'm looking at them right now. 21-21. Obviously, that's 13th in the league, which to me is actually impressive considering they're 500 and they're 13th in the league. Margin of victory is minus 0.2. So their average game they're losing, which they're 21-21.
Yeah,
so whatever. It makes sense kind of. Their pace is horrible. It's dead last in the league. They have the worst pace in the NBA.
Wow. Well, what do you mean in terms of pace?
Pace is like up and down the court, moving the ball. Like a good high pace team would be. I guess it would probably be like the Thunder. Oh, do the Thunder play with high pace? Think of the Thunder back then with Harden, James, LeBron.
It's just like
KD.
slow possession. It's just slow possession.
You play like do you play on the fast break, or do you play center court, mid court,
do you run the shot clock down and get a
Yeah.
good shot, or do you play hard and fast and drive to the basket and get fouls?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, I see.
So I just ran through their stats.
Yeah,
I wasn't too impressed.
One of the reasons Virginia has been upset in 2 of the past 3 tournaments is because their pace is bad. Shout out everybody watching March Madness.
So the problem
March Madness is going crazy.
Yeah.
Follow on Twitter for updates on March Madness too.
Yes.
But pace really affects. Pace is an underrated stat, I think, because if you don't match the tempo of the other team, you're going to get blown out. You're going to get ran over, and you can't keep up. So.
Yeah, and exactly. So that was what I was going to bring up. If you're not really exhausting another team or making them work, it's a little bit easier to defend when you're in an offense or in a half court set than it is on the fast break, especially if you have good fast break players. Now that would lead me to look at their team. I don't see any fast break players outside of Derrick Rose, who's been hurt.
Right.
Am I missing somebody? Is there somebody else there that I guess RJ Barrett lately?
I mean, quickly.
He's so inconsistent, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is inconsistent. So
their team stats aren't that good, guys. The defensive rating is the best thing.
Yep.
It's not really impressive just looking at this graphic that I got from Basketball Reference. Their turnovers, they turn the ball over so much. It's unbelievable. 11% of the time they have the ball, they turn it over. That's insane. Which is not surprisingly, that's not last in the league. But that's just alarming in my opinion. So I know you mentioned, Mohammed, earlier that how have they been since Rose? So I looked it up. I did a little stat searching on that. They're 7-3 in games that Derrick Rose plays for them. However, the same narrative, only one of those teams had a winning record. So I'm still kind of questioning. I want to see them beat some good teams. I'm not expecting them to go out and beat the Nets and beat the Sixers and those, maybe win one of those every once in a while. But I just want to see them show that they can be the team that they're probably going to see in the playoffs should they make the playoffs.
I mean, who would they play in the playoffs right now?
Right now, let's check it out. I don't know if they're even a playoff team. I don't think they are.
They're the 6th seed.
Oh, they're the 7th. They're the 7th seed. So if we're assuming that after the play-in tournament they're the 7th seed, they would play Milwaukee.
No, they're the 6th seed, bro.
No, the Hawks won today. I'm pretty sure they're 2 games above 500 now. So.
The Hawks are the 5 seed, right?
No, dude, I'm looking at updated as of now.
All right, then. Well, then they would play the Bucks, right?
They would play the Bucks.
Okay, then
they'll get obliterated. Let's say.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Look at. So it's basically the top 3 teams are kind of separated from 4 through 8, right? In terms of record, or is it 4 through?
Yes, you're right. It's 4 through.
Okay, so let's just say they're the 4th or 5th or 6th seed. Who would they play?
So if they're the 4th seed and you replace Miami, then they'll play Miami or Atlanta.
Or they'll play the Miami or the Hawks, right?
Yeah. Yep. I think they could. I kind of agree with you, Mohammed. I think they're probably a first-round exit, but I would say for the Knicks this year, if you make the playoffs, that's a win. That's
absolutely.
I say to me they exceeded expectations. I didn't expect them to be this good.
And I'm not saying they're not good. And I picked them to make the playoffs, and I still think they will. I just personally I thought they were better than they are. You know what I mean? When I really looked into it, I was like, okay, they're not actually this good, but they're respectable.
Right.
And I think they could.
Man.
Yeah, I think they could beat the Hornets if somehow they could ever get that matchup, but I don't think that'll be possible because I'm pretty sure.
I think Hawks and Hornets they could probably beat if they met them in the playoffs. But other than that,
they're not beating Miami. So. They're not beating Milwaukee.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody we talked about Milwaukee or Miami what was it, last week or something, and 2 weeks ago or something, and I talked about you guys that they were on a 8-game winning streak or something. I forget what it was, but now they're all the way up to the 4th seed. They were in the 10th seed or something.
Yeah, they're the surgeon.
That's credit to Jimmy Butler, underrated MVP candidate.
Exactly. So, they just acquired Trevor Ariza as well. So they're I think they're loading up for another run. safe to say.
Thanks for mentioning Ariza there, because that's a good segue into our next topic, which is about recent trades. Recent trades over the deadline was PJ Tucker to the Bucks, Trevor Ariza to the Heat, Myers Leonard to the Thunder, and then there's rumors that Myers Leonard would be dropped and maybe not in the league for a while after those bad comments on. We went into that detail last episode, but
about the Jewish community.
Yep, thoughts on PJ Tucker to the Bucks and Trevor Ariza to the Heat. Thoughts.
I'm gonna just
make the Bucks and the Heat both better.
Yeah, let me just list. Let's talk about the Bucks first. That trade. I'm gonna just list what the trade was, just for clarity for everybody.
Sure.
The Bucks traded DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, and a 2023 first-round pick to the Rockets for PJ Tucker and Rodions. How did I have that?
Don't even try.
I don't know. Along with requiring its 2022 first-round pick, Houston will also have the rights to swap the 2021 second-round pick for this year, should the Bucks somehow have a better pick.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got Tucker, but that was the trade. Just
is that a good trade to y'all?
Well, Tucker's decent on the defensive end, right? I mean, that could help them out, I guess. But they already have Giannis. They already have decent defenders in the post. So I don't know. They need,
he's only there for shooting,
right? I mean, I guess he.
PJ Tucker. Right? Yeah, PJ Tucker. I think is a good pickup.
Yeah.
Do they need him? I don't know. I mean, he's they have Bobby Portis off the bench who basically plays the same position.
Right.
They have Brook Lopez. They have Giannis, obviously. So PJ Tucker, I think, is a good pickup defensively and shooting and maybe leadership, I guess. But for them to give a DJ Augustine, I mean, I know they have Dante and they have Drew Holiday as small guards. Wasn't DJ their backup point guard off the bench?
Yeah, they should. Yeah. I don't know if they should have gotten rid of DJ Augustine.
I wonder if they play Giannis at point or a point forward like that. Even though that's kind of
I didn't know Augustine was on the Bucks. How many minutes is he playing? Hold on.
You should have paid attention to the NBA before 2016, bro.
Wow. Disrespected.
Let me say this though. PJ Tucker is shooting career lows this year.
Oh, he plays for Rockets, so
I mean it's something to think about. I don't. While Zach looks, I'm gonna just give my thoughts. I don't think this really does anything. I know he's a veteran that does some of that dirty work, that does like all that get up in your face, like stick up for your teammates, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the Bucks' issue is not this. It's not like, I mean, I do think they need more shooters,
this is not their issue.
It's not addressing the real issue, which is coaching, in my opinion. And then after that, Giannis and Middleton. You got to be better in the playoffs. I mean, Giannis is great in the playoffs, but he needs to figure out a way to be more effective. Middleton just needs to be consistent. He just needs to be 185 or 170.
He needs to live up to his regular season averages in the playoffs.
Yes,
because he has not, and they need one of their guards because Eric Bledsoe was not. Scoring he was not a convenient or consistent third option. So they need Drew Holiday to, step up and make big plays and make decent plays. So I like where the Bucks are at. I think they're as a 3 seed, they're a little bit underrated. If they get too much hype, obviously that puts more of a target on their back. So I like them going into the playoffs as an underrated, team because that gives them more of an edge maybe against teams. So that might give them an advantage because they just been so overrated the last couple of playoffs. They just haven't got it done, haven't gotten to the finals consistently, or haven't even gotten to the finals. So when they really
have they even made it out of the second round?
I mean, oh my God!
They did 2 years ago.
Then they make it to the conference finals and then lost to
the Raptors.
Kawhi Raptors. They lost to.
Yeah. So rip. Yeah. So that'll be tough.
Now for the Myers Leonard one.
Yeah, the Myers Leonard one.
Here, let me read off the criteria for that one as well. So Leonard, he had to waive a no trade clause for this to happen. He had a no trade clause in his contract, and he did it out of respect for the Miami Heat organization, as he put it. He will not be an active part of the Thunder moving forward, according to the team. And he's likely going to be waived unless the team can do something else with his contract prior to the trade deadline. So the Thunder, the Thunder have acquired. This is insane. The Thunder have acquired 17 first-round picks and 15 second-round picks between now and 2027, which is insane. But that was the main reason they made this trade, was for the pick.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's just ridiculous.
Yep.
That's just ridiculous.
They're gonna be stacked.
We know how Sam Presti drafts. I mean, we know how he drafts.
They're gonna be stacked. Damn.
Was Shy already there?
Yep. My guy SGA.
I mean, they don't even have a bad young team. They really don't.
They don't.
They have a decent team.
Dort is a respectable defender and can shoot well on good nights. Shoots pretty bad on other nights, but he's still an all-around decent defender. They got different players off the bench too, so I mean they're exciting, and they're not as bad as they may seem. They're still, not like the bad of the West. They still can win games and stuff. So, damn, Thunder are set up though. All right.
What do you think, Mohammed?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
He just said that.
It's just, the first round picks, if they're not at least a top 3 team in the West in the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah.
You can't mess up that many picks, man. Honestly, at least a couple of friends. I don't know.
I know
maybe
that can mess that up.
maybe at least a couple of franchise players, but that's saying a lot. But I mean, it depends. Aren't most of them protected too? Right?
Yeah.
So we have to see how those turn out.
What do we think of Ariza though to the Heat? I know we spoke on it a little bit the last segment. I can't speak tonight. All right, I just can't. I don't know what's going on. But how does that benefit the Heat? Personally, I think it really helps the Heat. I think Ariza is a big pickup.
Yeah, for 3-and-D, man.
Yep. Yeah, Ariza is decent on the Heat. I think anybody that's a good defender in 3-and-D is going to be a nice pickup for your team. So
I think it helps Jimmy Butler especially.
Yeah.
Because I think it can help him not have to guard the best player on the other team.
Yep.
And that could really help Jimmy offensively because, Jimmy doesn't really put up too many huge scoring games. But I think he's definitely capable of it because we've seen it. I mean, we saw
he doesn't try to. He's a big team player.
Yeah, he is. But it might be important that he does do that at some points and not exhausting himself on the defensive end. I mean, as Bulls fans, I'm sure we can all remember what it was like when he was our best defender and our best player.
Yeah. and the best teammate in the league.
That's facts.
And still the best teammate in the league.
That's facts.
He brings everybody up on the team. He tries to get everybody their due process.
Yeah.
Especially on those Sixers teams too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. One of the best players in the league and underrated and certainly a top 10 player in my opinion.
Yeah.
But moving on. New vaccine guidelines. So I'm going to pass this off to Will because he seems to be our statistician, if you want to say that, I guess.
This is not what it is, bro.
He seems to be the math guy. He's got the facts. Mad respect. Subtle flex for Will, but if you've got the guidelines about the vaccine, please let us know.
So there is not much to this actually. It's just pretty much just so the quote is fully vaccinated people do not have to quarantine after exposure to coronavirus and can have both friends and family visit them anywhere without having to get tested or register with the team. Vaccinated individuals can start dining at restaurants, do not have to wear masks at team facilities, and have more flexibility to leave hotels and travel and whatnot. So the bigger aspect of this was the NBA is trying to get the country to vaccinate. Right now, only 22% of the country has been vaccinated fully. So I don't know what that stat would be if you're just doing the first vaccine. I don't know what that is, but it's, I mean,
That's big.
it is big, and I think this is good. I think these requirement guidelines I would call them should impact the NBA players and make them want to take it. Hopefully,
Yeah,
which I think
especially
is a bigger thing. Go on,
right.
sorry.
No, I was gonna say more players probably will try to get vaccinated just because of those guidelines you just read off. The whole, they don't have to quarantine if they're exposed to a virus, so they don't have to miss games. Because a lot of players have missed games just because, of tracing and, exposure to the virus. And even if they do end up being negative the next day or two, well, what was it?
Kevin Durant, what?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yeah, exactly, like KD.
I actually started coughing. Oh my god!
But exactly, I mean, they basically get to. I want to say like released from the shackles, but they get to free roam a little bit. I'm
Whoa!
I'm just saying, just because of the whole protocol that the NBA has, established. I'm sure if players, see they can see friends and family, they could, leave the hotel.
Friends and family and other acquaintances.
Yeah, exactly.
So, are you talking about like Atlanta? Certain things in Atlanta?
That's not getting into any details.
Dude, I guarantee you, as soon as James Harden gets vaccinated, if he hasn't, he's going to disappear for 2 weeks.
No. Yeah, but exactly. I mean, a lot of guys get to, more leisure time. So
good way to put it. Good word choice there at the end, Mohammed. Appreciate that. All right, but our rolling debate of this episode is going to be a player versus debate of Steve Nash versus the likes of Jason Kidd. All right, we have discussed Steph versus Dame in the clutch last episode. We've had some debates about Steph before.
There was no debate. It was one of us or two of us were right, and then another person was wrong. Just want to make that clear.
That's your opinion, but moving on, we got this one. We've already got some opinions about this before. We have personally talked about this before, but your thoughts, Will and Mohammed first, unless you want me to go first. Of course.
I want you to go first. We went first last time, and you think that we have the same pick, evidently. So
damn it! I
didn't say that. I'm just saying that's what you think.
No, I'm saying, damn it, I go first because I liked. I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, damn, they're gonna want
put you on the spot, bro.
Because I like giving the rebuttal and being able to go in on y'all, because that's how I win. But I'm going with Steve Nash. Steve Nash, the 2-time MVP. Let I remind y'all, Jason Kidd has not won an MVP. Let I also remind you, Steve Nash is a better shooter. He scores better, I think, as well. I think he's personally a better passer. I think he also has more of a presence on the court where, Jason Kidd is more of, he's good, but he's not the best option on the team most times. So I think Steve Nash is the best option on most teams, leads the offense, just has an overall better presence. 50-40-90 club as well, just a better free throw shooter too. So that's my first couple of instances. I also want to say, Steve Nash just, you just got to look at his resume with the Suns, look at his resume with anybody else. He's just an overall baller.
Something tells me that you look at one that had hair and then the other one didn't really have hair. And that's
you think that's funny, huh? You think that's funny, huh?
I just know you. That's the kind of argument you would present.
That's funny. That's not the kind of arguments I present. That's disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful to me. Damn it.
That's kind of what I.
Let's go. All right, you go next. No, you go next. No, Will, you go next. No, Will, you go next since you want to chime in.
So Will. So apparently you said Steve Nash is
good
player for the Suns and the Suns only, because his career after the Suns were just nothing but just shallow, hollow, years with the
Hello,
Lakers.
hollow leer. Well,
Um,
the team didn't work too well together. Team game.
So Steve Nash is Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has made to 3 finals. Steve Nash 0. Steve Nash has 0 rings. Jason Kidd has 1. Okay. So Jason Kidd has played 19 seasons in the league. Steve Nash 18. So Jason Kidd's stats may be a little bit more career-wise totals, but Jason Kidd has made the playoffs 5 more times than Steve Nash has. He's made the All-Star game 2 more times than Steve Nash has. He's made the All-NBA first team 5 times. Steve Nash only 3 times. Total selections, Steve Nash 7, Kidd 6. So he has made total selections. Defensive first teams, though. Jason Kidd was a 4-time first-team All-Defensive as a point guard. He has 9 total selections as a defensive player, All-NBA. Oh, yeah. Steve Nash, 0 first team,
how many?
0 All-Defense.
I didn't hear it. Can you say it louder for the people?
What'd you say?
Can you say it louder? Dude, there's my friend back here. Can't hear it.
Oh, God.
What's that word you used last week, Will? Big fat goose egg.
Goose egg.
Oh, my God.
Yikes.
Goose egg.
Reminds me of Steph Curry in the clutch.
Oh my God! Enough with this bullshit.
Both of them has led the league in assists 5 times in their careers, so they're tied with that. Moving on though.
Okay.
The whole scoring thing. Steve Nash has what? Steve Nash career-wise has only scored averaged 14 points a game. Jason Kidd about 13, so not that far off in terms of scoring. Rebounds. Jason Kidd has averaged 6.3 for his career. Steve Nash 3 rebounds a game. Assists about the same. Kidd career-wise 8.7, Nash 8.5. So career-wise, the assists are there. Steals though, Steve Nash has averaged 0.7 steals. Jason Kidd 1.9, so about 2 steals a game. Total games though, Jason Kidd has played about 75 more games than Steve Nash. I'll just round it up to 1,400 for Kidd, and then basically 1,250 for Steve Nash, so about 150. But okay. Those are just stats. So based off stats, Jason Kidd is a better all-around player.
All around, though. Yeah.
So he's a better player because he's better all around.
That's like people saying LeBron is a better all-around player. I'm like, you're saying he's a better player. Okay, that's what it means.
Jason Kidd also is 3rd all-time in career triple-doubles with 107, only trailing Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson. He's also number 2 all-time in postseason triple-doubles with 11, trailing Magic Johnson. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm not even going to get to career totals because obviously Jason Kidd's played way more games. Well, not way more, but a lot more games than Steve Nash. So, but you get the idea.
If I got handed those 2 resumes, yikes! I'd meet with my team and be like, guys, it's clear. Let me give Steve Nash some credit here. All right, that 50-40-90 club, the Triple Crown, that's been done. How many times? By 8 different players. I think it's like 13 times. I didn't remember the exact amount because AD did it last year, I think.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. I believe. At least that's what I was reading. But I don't really care about that. The point is Steve Nash has done it 4 times. The only other player to do it more than once is Larry Bird, which is really impressive company. I got to think Steph Curry should be able to do it at some point again. Maybe Durant. But that's elite company. So as a shooter, I don't even think it's close. Obviously, Steve Nash is one of the best shooters ever. Yep. If he we were talking about today on the court, Mohammed, if Steve Nash just shot the ball more, he might have been the reason that the Suns never made the final or never won the finals and made it, is just because he just wasn't offensively more, like, he didn't shoot enough. And I was saying, like, maybe if he grew up in this era, it would be different, because the point guards are such, scoring point guards. So with those shooting percentages, Steve Nash could be lethal. He really could be lethal.
He was lethal.
I can't remember all the stats you listed. He's 6th in career assist percentage, which is pretty good. His career PER is 20. Forget where that ranked. It was like 20th or something career wise. He's a career 90% free throw shooter, which is amazing. I mean, we get it. All right, Zach, we get it. He's a great shooter.
Yeah. But he's also a great scorer.
He barely scored more than.
So
I'm looking at these playoff averages for Kid right now. I don't see anything.
Wait. I was just about to talk about that. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
Okay,
all right.
fine.
So playoff averages for Steve Nash versus what you said. You said the regular season or just career averages. In the playoffs, he averages 17.3 points per game. So he goes up by 3 points. 8.8 assists, virtually the same thing. 3.5 rebounds, almost the same thing. 0.6 steals, basically the same thing. Now, Kids, you went through Kids' averages, I believe. I don't think you mentioned how many steals he averaged per game. 1.9. So basically 2. That's elite. That is elite.
I said that.
Oh, you did?
I made sure to say that because Steve Nash has not averaged more than 1 steal per game ever in his career.
Yeah. So this is kind of like this Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry debate we have, Zach, where you just pick Steph. I'm like, yes, Steph offensively easily better than Isaiah Thomas, but you have to look at the other side of the ball, and that to me is what separates these two.
All around.
Jason Kidd is a significantly better defender. So let me go through playoff averages for Kidd, which I'm assuming you were just about to do. 12.9 points per game.
There you go.
Essentially the same thing.
There. No,
8 assists per game.
12 points is significantly lower than 17.
No. I'm talking about to his regular season.
His regular season. Okay.
He basically scores the same amount. Basically has the same amount of assists. Basically has the same amount of rebounds, and has the exact same amount of steals. So he doesn't exactly elevate too much statistically in the playoffs.
There you go.
He's elevated to 3 finals.
But he's gone to 3 finals and he's won a finals. Now let me go.
Who carried him on New Jersey?
Okay, whatever.
Who carried him? What do you mean? Whatever. Who carried him?
Talk about the other 2 times.
He did.
What? He went to the finals twice in New Jersey, once with the Mavs. Please tell me, did he ever have Mark Stoudemire or Sean Marion on the New Jersey Nets like Steve Nash did? I'm pretty sure the 2 years that Steve Nash won the MVP, Amari Stoudemire was averaging career highs in points and rebounds. So
and Kobe, you can't even talk about Kobe Bryant those years. The only reason Kobe didn't win those years, the MVPs those years, is because his team didn't win enough. Now let me keep going though. Career free throw percentage for Kidd is 78, so not even close to Nash. His career PER is also less than Nash, 18. So
see, look at this.
But your PER is an offensive stat. It's an offensive stat, so it's not even considering the other side of the ball. He's a 10-time All-Star. I mean, but here the part that separates them two, Zach, is the all defensive first teams, all defensive second teams, and all defense, and then the steals. His defense is just better. Like he's just a better defender, and the ultimate goal of the NBA to win a championship. Kidd did it. He did it. You can say, oh, Dirk carried him, blah, blah, blah. Kidd was great. He was great in that series. He was great.
Playoffs. He was great in the playoffs.
And great in that playoffs. But I'm just saying, like, specifically that series, he didn't get carried. He held his own, and he was, 38 years old or whatever?
38 years old, and he got assigned LeBron James to guard in the finals, by the way, just to point that out.
And that's why did he get assigned that? Because his defense is elite. So if we were just looking at offense, you could have an argument, I would say, but I don't think
barely
because they're really similar offensively. Honestly, you mentioned the assist titles. One stat I looked up, I didn't say I don't think was there plus minus for Nash. Its career is 3 for Kidd it's 3.8. I don't personally like that stat too much. I think it's a pretty flawed stat, but
plus minus. I think plus minus is a very good stat, but continue.
Well, that's basically what I want to say. Why do you think that?
It just shows overall their impact. It's the closest stat to show their offensive impact.
That's PE. That's PER, my friend. That would be PER.
Oh, come on. No, you just said PER is a flaw stat too.
No, I said PER is an offensive stat. Dude, I'm gonna roll the tape again this week, bro. I rolled the tape last week and you were wrong. I'm gonna roll the tape again this week. I said PER is an offensive stat. It is not a flawed stat. It's just an offensive stat. Go on. I want to know about this.
You've had your turn. You've had your turn.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's just wrap it up. It's obviously kid. He says shooting and scoring. He acts like that's what makes a player better. Like
it's Steph Curry, bro.
Offensive presence.
Admit you're wrong. Just admit you're wrong, bro. Apparently, Steph Curry is the best player of all time just because he's a better scorer and shooter than most guys.
Oh my
Apparently.
God.
Come on, dog. We're talking about who's a better player, not who's a better scorer or shooter. Like if that's the case, then yeah, Steve Nash is it. That's your argument. That's your argument winning. But we're talking about who's a better player, bro. It's obviously kids. So just please stop bringing up, oh, look at his PER. Look at his scoring and shooting. Oh, my goodness. Like, what are you talking about?
Look at his assist.
What the
He's a better
hell?
passer. Better passer.
Dude, no. Jason, they average the same amount of assists.
I'll take my guy Nash.
I'll say that I do think Nash. Assists,
and, yeah.
I'll say that Nash probably.
Let me also say you talk about kid taking back-to-back teams, the New Jersey Nets in the East to back-to-back finals. That's not a feat.
Bro, the East was good back then. Dude,
not nearly as good as the West was when Nash was there with the Lakers and Spurs dynasties, and Nash still carried the Suns deep into the playoffs.
Deep enough not to go to the finals. I mean, Jason Kidd had to go through the Sixers. He had to go through the Pistons. Had to go through.
Those aren't dynasties.
Okay, they're still good teams. He still went to the finals. He still led them somewhere.
Okay, that's fine, but it's still in the East. If Nash was on those teams, they would have won the finals, maybe.
They would have won the finals?
Yeah.
With his 17 points and 8 assists?
No. Absolutely. And shooting. And those 50, 47, 40, and 90 in the playoffs.
The fact that you talk about all this efficiency and he never averaged more than 20 points a game, it's just weird. All this scoring you're talking about. He's never averaged 20 points. He wasn't a scorer, bro. He just shot. Maybe he made those shots because he was open or he just dribbled a little bit and then took mid-range. If he was actually the scorer that you're trying to make him to be, at least he'd have a couple 20-point per game seasons. Has he had that? No.
I'm done.
He has had.
What is this whole scoring that you're talking about, bro?
Wait, when has Nash ever averaged 20 points per game?
That's what I'm asking. Has he ever even averaged over 25 points a game?
No, he's never averaged 20.
Okay, 20.
He's never averaged 20. Yeah. That's crazy. So this whole scoring thing, he's not that a prolific scorer. I'll take the rebounder, the assister, the leader, the playmaker way better than whoever that is, the Canadian you're talking about, bro.
I have to say this, Zach. Your lack of paying attention to basketball before 2016. The East was good back then, dude. It was really good.
But not nearly as good as the West.
Yes.
I mean, the 04 Pistons beat the Lakers who had Karl Malone,
but
Gary
the Lakers
Payton.
Had a dynasty. No, Lakers and Spurs had dynasties. No.
I'm trying to say that's who Jason Kidd beat.
Well, okay, if you're talking about
he beat that team that beat the Lakers to go to the finals.
That was a fluke. That was a fluke.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, everybody knows that the Pistons team was just on one, but still.
That was one of the best teams.
Name 3 players on the Pistons team, Zach.
Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and it's enough right there.
You're missing like the most obvious.
He can't even name the Finals MVP. He can't even name Finals MVP. Let's just wrap it up, bro.
Chauncey Billups.
That man's just talking just to talk, bro.
There was a guy on that team that played for the Bulls too.
Wrap it up.
Chauncey Billups.
No, I gotta find one more stat, bro, because those Phoenix teams.
But he has to go up against those teams. Oh my god,
bro,
anyway.
dude. Those I'm sorry. Those Phoenix teams were really good. Those teams Nash played with were really good. Just want to say they were good enough to win the finals. There's no excuse. The Mavericks, when they won the finals, no one thought that was happening. No one. The road the Mavericks had to win the finals.
Okay, but he's a role player on that team. Kid is a role player on that team. He's not better than Dirk. Dirk carried the Mavs most of that playoff. So moving on.
I mean, at 38. Whatever.
Good thing Jason Kidd was 38, and good thing he was a point guard, not not there for
Oh my
scoring.
God.
My mood's ruined.
Last.
This
So that
man's
was
mentally ill. Golly.
whatever. Taking Nash. Taking Nash. Next time, let's wrap this up with bold takes. Bold takes last week. Mohammed said Harden would climb the MVP ladder to the front. I mean, it might happen with LeBron out, but
It didn't happen.
I'm
I'm
gonna give that an X. Bulls 6 seed. I don't think that happened. So, and they have not done a blockbuster trade. So, rip. I said Warriors and Bulls 5 seeds. I don't think the Warriors are in 5 seed now.
No.
And the Nets on a losing streak.
No.
You sure? I mean, are we sure?
Not.
Yes, they are. They're on a 1-game losing streak.
That's not a losing streak.
Count
that's
it,
one
sir.
game.
Count it. Count that take.
So desperate to be right, bro.
Count that take. Steph Curry is not leading the MVP race. Rip in pieces, and John Biden is not on the Warriors. So
is Steph even playing?
No, he has been injured.
Yeah.
No.
So
Tailbone. He's out with a tailbone injury. Jordan Poole and Wiggins are stepping up.
Yikes.
But Will said the Suns will be the number 1 team. Close,
yikes.
but no cigar. They are the 2 seed.
No, they're the 3.
Jamal Murray under 15 points. This last week, I don't think that's.
Let me go check.
That would have been pretty big news. He's on 19. He had 19. He had 34. Woo! Yikes, Will. He had 16
No. I said specifically against the Bulls.
Oh, specifically against the Bulls.
So,
yeah,
nice.
So rip.
Oh,
what did you say here? Wizards losing to the Nets. Did that happen? I don't.
No,
think
I said
that...
the Nets losing to the Wizards. That didn't happen. Dude,
you said Oh.
No,
I must have written these down wrong. Shit.
It's not bold if I said the Wizards lose to the
Oh,
Nets.
yeah, you're right.
God,
and Lonzo did not go to the Hornets. So that's like I'm the only one who has gotten a take right this last week. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Nets are on a losing streak. A 1-game losing streak. Okay.
Oh, God.
Bold takes this week. Thoughts. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first. Okay. Let me take a look at these standings. I'm gonna say that the Hawks will get. I'm gonna say that the Hawks will go on a losing streak after this 8-win. Is that bold enough? Oh no, that's bold enough. That's kind of weak. My bad. I'm gonna say that the Lakers drop out of the playoffs this week.
That's insane. Is that even possible? I don't think it's possible. It isn't.
Whatever.
Okay.
Lakers drop out of the playoffs this week.
if it happens, then you are a prophet.
I'm also gonna say Warriors jump to 5 seed.
Here we go with the Warriors. No.
Okay, I think those are both bold enough. Anyone else?
I have bold takes. Mohammed, you go though, because I got to check this one thing to make sure.
Lonzo Ball will be traded to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Wow. Okay.
Really?
Is that it?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that the Houston Rockets will win 3 straight games starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's bold. Are they still on that losing streak?
No,
yes, they are.
Yeah,
they've lost 19
right?
in a row.
19
in a row.
Guys, when we talk about MVP, we might have to consider Christian Wood because they literally haven't won a game without him. They're terrible.
No, they lost 2 games with him. So.
Well, I know, but they haven't won a game without him. They've literally since he got
I
hurt.
think it would be bold enough if you
COVID-19.
just said they won. You know, I mean, if you need to say
If
a
it-
3-game win streak.
You know what? I'm gonna be bold. All right, I'm
Okay.
not scared. And then
Okay.
the Bulls are
I'll
gonna
give it
beat.
to you next week if they win, bro. I'll give it to you next week if they
Yeah,
win.
you gotta give me a party. The Bulls are gonna beat the
Right.
Jazz. All right,
Wow.
Bulls are gonna beat the Jazz. You guys sleep on the Bulls. All right.
I don't
They
sleep
just-
on them.
Yeah, I know you don't. Right? No.
I don't sleep on the Bulls. They
Yeah.
should be a playoff team.
Bro, right now, this whole episode, you would have been trying to talk about the Warriors if Steph Curry
Wait.
played this week.
Oh, come on. What about the Bulls? What'd you
They're
say?
gonna beat the Jazz this
Okay.
week.
Let me just write that down. Get that down. Okay, so is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Good episode, y'all. Appreciate everybody tuning in, chilling out with us, having a nice debate about various topics around the NBA. As you all know, follow the links below. Hit our social media pages. Check us out. Listen to recent episodes on our link tree as well. Appreciate
Yeah.
y'all tuning in.
Sorry,
Say
guys.
less.
Say
less basketball podcast, episode 8.
Yeah. Make sure to follow that social media. Sorry for my energy, guys. I was feeling a little under the weather. These allergy season is killing me.
Okay.
Hopefully, I know some of you guys feel it. But
March
make sure to
Madness.
follow that.
Keep us updated. We keep you updated on March Madness stuff. Shout out to everybody. Your brackets probably busted by now.
Literally
Obviously.
all of your brackets.
Literally all your
busted.
brackets.
Don't lie.
Yep. Facts.
Hey, it's just real quick for the fans. Is this the GOAT? I don't
Oh
know.
my
Just
God.
let me know your
Oh my
opinions in the comments. Just want to
Oh
know.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Muhammad's got it right.
Russell Wilson to the Bears did not happen. Contrary to Muhammad's last couple of ending quotes.
What happened instead?
Bears are the worst franchise in the National Football League.
Oh,
That's not
there
bold
it is.
enough to end the podcast.
It is in my book. Peace,
N'Golo
y'all.
Kante is the best CDM in the world, by the way.
Oh, who
Thanks.
cares
All
about
right.
that?
You know what? It's been fun, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Peace.